Alright guys, I'm gonna do shotgun shells today. Well, normally the ingredients will call for the manicotti shells. I call them marigot. If you look up on YouTube, it's basically a round shell like this, and you stuff them in with whatever ingredients you want, and they do look like large shotgun shells, and then you wrap them up in bacon. But I'm gonna go to the non-traditional way. I'm gonna use these pastries here. These are cannoli pastries. All right, now I purposely got these done, and what I did was I scooped out the filling because I want to use the chocolate. See, the chocolate is in there because I think that it's going to be amazing, that the sweetness of the chocolate, the softness of the pastry, and the saltiness of the bacon is going to be made for powerful ingredients, like flavors. So let's get started. All right, so right here I have some butter that's being melted. All right, I'm going to raise it up a little bit, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start making my first dish. So what I have here is lobster tails, fresh. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut right straight down the middle. I'm going to show you how. Just be patient, okay? And just be careful not to cut too into the meat, and just cut off the shell there, straight down, straight through, all the way to the end. Okay. And what you're gonna do is you want to separate the meat from the shell. So just kind of bend it and fold it, and you start hearing some snapping here and there. But be careful not to snap the shell if you plan to use it. If not, then hey, just tear it all up. Now I'm just gonna go and take a little knife here, butter knife, and I'm just going to separate the meat from the shell, nice and gently but firm, okay, like so. Then I'm just going to put my finger in there and start to release it, okay, just by pulling, tucking, pulling, tucking until it all falls out. There you go. Then you grab the end and just pull, and there you go, a perfectly lobster tail pulled out of the shell. Alright guys, as you can see, I separated both lobster tails from the shell. I'm going to put them in butter. That means it's called poaching. No more than 3 minutes, okay? No more than 3 minutes or you'll overcook the lobster. Okay, you see it's nice and simmering there. So I'm going to drop the lobster meat, and I'm also going to put the lobster tail shells in there because I wanted to get it nice and red and nicely cooked and clean, because I'm going to use them for decoration for later. I'll show you how in a bit. So check this out. They've been poaching 3 minutes, heat off. Okay, this is how I want it. This is the shell, how I want it, nice and red. Okay, and now I'm just gonna start getting ready for plating. Here you go, look how nice it looks. Now I have my lobster meat nice and poached. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is now I'm just gonna set up my cannoli pastries. Okay, I'm gonna stuff them in there, and I'm gonna get them ready for bacon. It's gonna be under 325 for an hour once you fill in all the cannolis and the manicotti or whatever you're gonna use to stuff, and wrap it in bacon. All right, so here I'm just gonna put it in there as gentle as I can. All right, try to fit it in there. Do some trimming on the side if you can. Alright, and just make sure that both sides are nicely stuffed. You figure it out. Just cut them into pieces, make sure they fit nice and tight, and yeah, just get them stuffed. Alright, now that the cannoli is nicely stuffed there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the bacon and I'm just going to wrap it. Alright, just take your time wrapping it, make sure everything is covered, every inch, every corner, and yeah, just overlay it and just take your time. Okay, and I'll show you how it looks. See, as you can see, I got the corners and the edges all wrapped, everything nicely wrapped there. Okay, and I got that one loose, so what I'm just gonna do is just grab another piece, trim it off, and yeah, and just cover that little loose end there. All right, and make it look pretty. All right, and this is how it's supposed to look. Nice and snug, nice and wrapped, okay? A little blanket, so to speak. All All right, and I'll do the next one, and then I'll continue with the next step. All right, so I'm gonna go with the next dish here, which is gonna be an Asian dish. So I got my wok here heating up because I got it covered, getting nice and piping hot. All right, and I'm gonna use now the maricat shells. All right, the maracati shells. I call them marigot. All right, so look, they look like shotgun shells, and I'm gonna get them to cook. So here, it's nice and hot, piping hot. And then what I'm just gonna do is now, I'm just gonna add the following. All right, 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil. All right, I'm throwing in 6 cloves of minced garlic, fresh. Get them in there and start to cook them rapidly. As you can see, the heat's coming up on that real quick. All right, and then my next step will be about a tablespoon of green onions. And now I'm just gonna start to toss that around and make sure they're nice and cooked. You can see that wok is hot. I love that wok. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put about a 1/4 pound, which is a handful of pork. Okay, and just throw that in there. And I'm gonna start to mix that up and make sure that the meat is already cooked through. Now what I want to do is I want to add some hoisin sauce, about a good tablespoon of it. Now what I want to do is I want to add some hoisin sauce, about a good tablespoon of it. Now the pork is already cooked, taking it off the heat. All right, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it inside paper towel and dry it out, and then stuff the shells with that. All right, so here's my paper towel over a bowl, and what I'm doing is I'm just putting the pork meat that I just made in the wok in there. And like I said, I'm just gonna dry it out, drain it, okay, and get most of the oil and the liquid out for my stuffing. All right, and the third and final dish here would be the beef, Spanish style. All right, so I got some heat on this pan here. I'm just gonna throw some olive oil here just to coat, and I'm gonna add the following ingredients. All right, for the Spanish recipe, I'm just gonna add 2 cloves of fresh chopped garlic. Keep the high heat and mix it up a little bit. Make sure it's cooked thoroughly. Okay, in my hand I got about a 1/4 pound of chopped beef there. Okay, and throw that in there. And I'm also mixing some pork. Okay, and put them all together. And I'm gonna cook both these proteins until they're fully cooked through. All right, so now both proteins are fully cooked right through. Okay, and then I'm just gonna start adding the following. I got recadito. That's gonna be about 1 tablespoon of it. Then I have some sofrito. That could be another tablespoon of it. All right, so now I'm just gonna use half an envelope of the sazon, and that will give it that nice little red color, and mix that in. As you can see, look at that nice little red color to it. That's what I'm looking for. All right, next I'm gonna put some dry oregano, about a tablespoon of it. And mix that in. Next will be the fresh cilantro, a nice handful, just to give it that color, give it that taste. Okay, you want that contrast. Definitely gonna look beautiful. So basically I'm going to do the same here like I did with the pork. Okay, I'm just going to take it out the heat and look at those colors. Look how vibrant it is. And I'm just going to put it inside a paper towel, cover it, and drain it, and dry it up, and get ready for stuffing. Alright, so here's my pork mixture that I made on the wok. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some soy sauce. Alright, just to give it that extra flavor and moisten it up a little bit. Mix that up a little bit. Then I'm going to add about a tablespoon of sugar and mix that up as well. So now I'm going to add some bacon that I cooked, chopped up, throw it in there for that crunch. Can't have enough bacon. And now I'm going to stuff it with my manicotti shells. Alright, I use my fingers, it's quick and easy. Alright, just make sure that you have your finger at the other end, and that will keep it from falling on the other side, and just keep stuffing it until it's completely filled. And now that I got them completely stuffed, now it's time to wrap it with the bacon. And the same as I did with the cannoli shells, just wrap it and make sure that everything is completely covered. Okay, take your time on it. Right, just always invent the wheel when you run out of bacon. Just cut, trim, cover, just like a puzzle. Alright, and there you go. Alright, and I'll repeat the same thing with the other shells, and we'll start with the next dish. Alright, so here's the beef portion of the dish here, with the cilantro and all those Spanish spices I put in there, and I'm just going to put some raw onions. And the reason why I didn't cook the onions beforehand, because I want these onions to cook while the bacon shotgun shells in the oven. So just remember, they're going to be in the oven for an hour under 325 degrees. But there's something I need to tell you. You have to keep it in the refrigerator before putting it in the oven at least 4 hours. I will have to actually put it overnight, which I will, but at least 4 hours. You put it in the refrigerator, then you put it in the oven. Alright, now I'm just going to stuff these shells. As you can see, I tried with the spoon, but it ain't working, so I'm just going to start using my fingers. Yeah, as you can see, it's much quicker and easier with the fingers. So I'm going to stuff these up, and then I'm going to get them wrapped up in bacon, just like the ones previously. So as you can see, they're nicely stuffed, and that's why it's given the name shotgun shells, because they look like a loaded shell, shotgun shell. And I'm just going to wrap them up in bacon. As you can see, I make sure to cover the edges, okay, and then just overlap it, and make sure that every inch of the shell here is covered with bacon. All right, like they could get that bacon crunch taste with every bite. As you can see, you have to improvise. If you run out of bacon, just grab another piece and start your wrapping. Okay, cover all the corners, overlap, break it off, nice and covered. Now you can see I got them all wrapped. All right, so I know exactly what they are. So the top right would be the lobster. This one here is the beef, right here. And then this one here is the pork, and then the top is the lobster. And I'm gonna put them in the refrigerator for 4 hours or overnight. So now I have my bacon wrap shells in the oven already for about a good 45 minutes. So now I got water here, and I got some cubed mangoes. Okay, I got them frozen because I couldn't find fresh mangoes right now. So I'm gonna bring them up to a boil, and I'm gonna start to cook them. So yeah, I got 15 minutes left on the bacon, so I'm gonna start working on my sauces so I can start dressing up my plates. So with 2 cups of water here that I have and about a cup of mango, they're starting to simmer now, okay? And remember that butter poach that I've made with the lobster that was in there? I'm keeping that butter because you know why? It's got all the lobster bits in there, and it's got all the fish taste in there. And I had to use melted butter for the recipe anyway, so I got about a good 6 tablespoons of it. I'm throwing it in there, and I'm gonna start to mix them in. Now, you could actually squash the mango with a fork or with electric beater. I'm using this hand mixer. I love it, but you could use it however you want to use it. At the end of the day, what you want to do is you want to break down the mango, and you want to smooth out this sauce so it could come out nice and creamy, like so. Alright, once again, you could use an electric beater, okay, to make cakes with, but I'm using this hand mixer here. Alright, so you can see the sauce is starting to get creamy because of the melted butter that I added in there. And just keep whisking if you don't have this hand whisker. And yeah, you'll see the end results. Alright, so I ran it for about a good minute. Look how nice and creamy it is. Okay, I just might run it for another 30 seconds or so, just to get rid of most of the lumps that are still there. And yep, and repeat the process until it gets to the creaminess that you want. Okay, after smoothing it out and getting rid of the lumps, I'm gonna put some red chili flakes in there, about a tablespoon of it. Yeah, just to give it that heat. It's gonna complement the mango sauce quite nicely. Give it a nice mix. I like the color that the red chili flakes also give to the sauce when I do my plating. And yeah, let's continue with the next step. Alright, so here is shotgun shell number 1, which is the lobster tail wrapped in the cannoli shell. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, remember the shell that I used? It looked a nice red color, okay? Leaving it poached with the meat. So I'm going to design the plate with that. So I'm just going to put them side by side. And now I'm just going to take some of that mango sauce that I made. Look at the nice little red chili flakes there. Okay, and I'm just going to put it right on the plate. Nice and creamy. That's exactly how you want it on both sides. Hope you guys enjoying this. It's simple to plate, man. You know, it's like a canvas, and you just make it however you want to make it. So now I got one of the shotgun shells here. As you can see, the lobster is stuffed in there. Okay, nice and beautiful, cooked early. Okay, and just put them up there. Okay, let's see if it cooperates. If it cooperates, little slippy. Okay, there you go. And we'll go with the next one. This piece is better. And let's plate this up. Let's see if it cooperates. There you go. Nice. Alrighty. Now I got one long piece there. So what I do is I just take a little bit and just yeah, I got an empty canvas in the bottom. Fill that up with the sauce just a little bit. Man, that mango sauce looks delicious. Alright, and then just put that piece there. And then I got some bits and pieces of lobster meat tail there that I put to the side. Yep, and I just throw them in there randomly. Okay. Yeah, I would pay $85 for this. Okay, a little bit of bacon bits. Alright, just to give it that crunch. Alright, bacon that I cooked and I chopped up. Nice. Okay. And this is what I say, respect the food. Okay? Because it'll come out looking like this, and it tastes just as better as it looks. Now I'm just going to put a little bit of lime zest on it, just to give it that little vibrant color. And there you go. You got lobster tail shotgun shells. Respect the food, guys. On to my next dish. Alright, so now I'm going to start on my sweet and sour sauce Asian style for my Asian shotgun shells. So I got about half a cup of water here. Bring that up to a boil. And then I'm going to throw in some soy sauce. 1 tablespoon of it. I got 1 tablespoon of rice wine vinegar. And then I'm going to put half a tablespoon of red wine vinegar. Next will be about a tablespoon of ground ginger. All right, mix those ingredients in, bring it up to a simmer. Okay, make sure everything is nicely mixed in well. And then I'll add in the next ingredient, which is going to be my hoisin sauce. I keep mispronouncing it. Hoisin sauce, about a good tablespoon of it. Yeah, I keep saying Hoi Min because that was one of my favorite restaurants in Chinatown in Manhattan in New York City. So yeah, and yeah, make sure that this hoisin sauce is mixed very well because it's nice and thick, and keep the liquid up in the simmer. Okay, so as you can see, it's already mixed through, and now I'm going to add about 1 tablespoon of cornstarch and mix that in very well. Bring that into a simmer and let it thicken. All right, so I've made my Asian sauce here. All right, and then I got my bacon prepared. That's the one with the pork inside that I made earlier. All right, so I'm gonna put it in a nice little smaller dish here. And I'm just gonna dress up the plate. All right, so I'm just gonna sprinkle it with some fresh cilantro there, just to make it look pretty. All right. All right, sprinkle a little bit of lemon zest on it. Okay, that adds flavor to it, plus color. All right, and there you have it, folks. Pork Asian shotgun shells with a nice little Asian sweet and sour sauce to it. Next one. So this Spanish one is gonna be very quick. I'm just gonna add some olive oil here just to coat. Okay, and then I'm gonna just go throw some chopped onions in there and get them cooked up. All right, so now the onions is nice and caramelized. I'm gonna put some sofrito in there, 1 tablespoon. Okay. Then I'm gonna put some recadito, 1 tablespoon of that. Give that a thorough whisk. Now I'm gonna add about a tablespoon of adobo and give that a nice mix. Then throw in a handful of cilantro. At the very end, mix that in, and it's all to it. Okay, get the cilantro a little soft there, a little cooked through, and get ready for plating. All right, this is the Spanish style beef shotgun shells. All right, so I got my little cilantro mix here that I put. All right, I'm just gonna put it as a bedding in the bottom. Okay, spread it out just nice and neat. And then I'm just gonna put my little beef shotgun shells that I stuffed earlier and put them in the oven. Little sprinkle of fresh cilantro just to give it some color. And there you have it, folks. Beef shotgun shells, Spanish style. There you have it, folks. Shotgun shells made 3 different ways. Thank you for watching. Respect the food.